And he grabbed my shoulders and he looked at me in the eyes and he said, Havilah, you're gonna have to decide if you're gonna live for fear or live for faith. Like, it's your choice. But if you don't look at fear as your enemy, it will destroy you. And I knew when he said it, it was like life and death was right there. I had to either agree with the limp that I had always had, or I had to agree with the truth that was now mine, the wholeness and the healing, and to actually be a righteous person. And today we were looking at the idea of doubt and how doubt comes in. And I remember a time when my limp got in the way. And I was a young girl and I was just following Christ. I was newly saved. And somebody had asked me to share a testimony in front of a large group of people. And you have to understand, somebody with dyslexia and reading and comprehension issues, I don't read in front of people. Have you ever said yes to something and then you realize I probably shouldn't have said yes? So this guy got me at a weak moment. And I, of course, no impulse control. I'm 17. I'm like, sure, I'll do it. Well, all day long, it started nagging at me. I got to get up. I'm going to have to get up tonight. I'm going to have to get up tonight. And then I go into the service that night. And there's 6,000 people worshiping the roof off the place. And it's just, everyone's excited to be there. And I'm having a panic attack. And I literally remember in the middle of worship, I am so filled with fear and anxiety. I get out of my seat and I run out of the building and I run around the building. And I am bent over in the back of this building as there's 6,000 people worshiping in the crowd. If you've ever been in front of those rooms, you can feel it. And I am bent over and I'm thinking, I need to get out of here. I don't want to do this. I'm terrified. Because just because God speaks to you and changes you doesn't mean you don't have a limp from your past and the anxiety. And I'll never forget, I'm bent over and I'm crying. And my dad happened to be there and he knew I was going to share because he's a minister, so he was excited about it. And he came and found me and I'm bent over in the back of this auditorium. And I'll never forget, he walked up to me and he grabbed my shoulders and he looked at me in the eyes and he said, Havilah, you're going to have to decide if you're going to live for fear or live for faith. Like, it's your choice. But if you don't look at fear as your enemy, it will destroy you. And I knew when he said it, it was like life and death was right there. I had to either agree with the limp that I had always had, or I had to agree with the truth that was now mine, the wholeness and the healing, and to actually be a righteous person. So I know in my life, anytime I start to feel like I'm limping, I have to ask myself, is this an old pattern of sin or a bad mindset? Or is this really what God says about me? Because this isn't lining up with what he's saying about me. What about you, Chris? Have you ever identified with your spiritual or maybe limp in your own self?
Oh, yeah. I'm trying not to laugh, imagining you behind a building, like doubled over, going, yes, we've all got our version of that if you do what we do. But I remember when we were starting A21, and Nick had been over in Europe in Thessaloniki, Greece, where I had this prompting in my heart, we're supposed to start in Thessaloniki. And Nick, I'll never forget this. So Nick calls me, I'm in the lounge about to get the connecting flight to Thessaloniki. He goes, Christine. And I said, yes, babe. He goes, before you get on that plane to come here, I want to remind you that you are a pastor. He says, I have the feasibility report. And he said, it's very comprehensive. It's all awesome. But in that report, on 10 different occasions in there, written in really formal language, but there is either the very direct phrase or a derivative of the phrase that says, it will be impossible. It will be, and they were giving us all the right reasons why. I mean, they were correct, naturally speaking, economically, politically, sociologically, legally. There were all of the reasons that were absolutely right in this feasibility study, but 10 different times. And I could feel Nick's going, Christine, they said that we should probably start in Southeast Asia. And then, I know, Christine, you felt that you had this work. Okay, so I've now got all the little group in Greece that have already been convinced because of this feasibility study that this is not a go in this region of the world. Let's start somewhere. And I remember I'm in the lounge, so I've got all this doubt staring at me, and I've got the consultants. Not only that, I paid them to give me this doubt on top of all of that.
Say I won't.
And I've got this thing. And I remember, and again, this is like one of those defining moments. I stand up in the lounge. Now, you got to imagine in Germany that every eye in that lounge looks at me, and out loud, there was like this conviction, and I went, Nick Caine, I go, Nick Caine, you tell those consultants before I even get there that God told me we are starting in Thessaloniki, and if God said it, we are well able. I just remember that came out of me and then it was like I had my own numbers 13, like Caleb going, oh, we're well able to take the land. These giants, it was like they gave me a list of all the giants that I knew already. I already said the church is embryonic. We don't have the money. There's the mafia. There's no legal. I knew all that. I mean, I didn't have to pay you to tell me. I knew all of that. And it was like when Moses sent the spies into the promised land, it's like, hang on a minute. The Lord wasn't saying, go in to tell me if you could take the land. He said, I've already given it to you.
Yeah.
I just want you to do a mission to see. I'm not saying there's no giants. I just want you to go and check them out. Is there a lot or is there a little bit? Is it big or, are the walls fortified or not? He wasn't saying that's going to change whether I can do it or not. That just is, I just want you to tell me what it is. And in that case, I was surrounded by doubt. That was the thing. And where it was like, there would be no A21 today. I mean, that is the bottom line. There would be no A21 because all of the natural things were, it is impossible. And can I just say they were right? It was like in Numbers 13 when 10 of the spies said, we are not able.
Yeah.
Well, they're right. And Caleb said, we are well able. He's right. Whichever one you want to believe is right. You either are not able, and without Christ, we would not have been able to do this. It wasn't in my own strength. And I think even when I think of you as a 17-year-old doubled over at the, in your own strength, you couldn't do it. 100%. You can't do it now any more than none of us could sit on this program. I'm looking at us all.
Right.
Who are we to be sitting on a Better Together program?
Yep.
The only difference is I know I can't, but I'm absolutely confident God can. That's the difference of overcoming doubt. It's not that I don't know.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe today and you'll never miss a new upload.
And don't forget to check out our Better Together shop. Thanks for being a part of our community.